Well, good evening, everyone. Guess what? Groups are back. My name is Dominic Insenius. I'm the leader here at the Heart, and I'm so grateful to be here with you this evening in our Connect groups. We had a break for a while in the summer, and we are back. Now, the goal of these groups is for us to gather together, to be in each other's messes together. Sunday mornings are great, but when we can gather together and be a part of each other's lives, be a part of each other's messes, that's when we really experience what community and connection is all about. So I'm so grateful to be here with you. Now, these groups are based on the message from Sunday morning, but even if you weren't there and even if you don't go to church at the Heart, you can still be a part of the conversation. The whole point of these groups is just to be a conversation that can help us understand more of ourselves, grow in our journey of faith, and be there for each other. Now, we are in a series called Unseen. And what we've done over the past couple of weeks is dig through different topics and groups of people who largely go unseen in our culture, in our society, and even in the church. This past Sunday, we looked a little bit about homelessness and try to understand the homelessness epidemic and the issue that is going on in our country, in our state, and even in our city, that homelessness is not a big city problem, that it's something that we see in the city of San Marcos. And if you're not from San Marcos, I'm sure it exists in your city as well. And we kind of looked at how we can love the people around us, be there for the people around us, and how when we do that, it helps us to see and connect with the love that God has already put inside of us. There's a scripture that we looked at on Sunday from Matthew 25, verses 34 through 40, and I'll put it up on the screen here in a little bit with the first question. I'd like to read that here a little bit later, but in that we get to see that when we love people, when we care for people, when we see people, God sees that as us loving Him as well, us demonstrating that love for Him. Now, when it comes to homelessness, a lot of us, we don't necessarily experience that because we have a place to lay down at night. We have a place to make food when we need it. So a lot of us can't connect with it on that level, but I want us to look maybe a little bit deeper this evening and see how we have experienced homelessness in a way where we have been out of touch. We have been places where we feel like we don't belong. A place where we're at our house or we're surrounded by family, but we don't feel a sense of being at home. Maybe our soul is looking for a place to be at home, and we're kind of all over the place in our soul, and maybe that's how we can connect with this. So for the first question for this evening, what I want to do as we're starting off, since we're getting things cooking again with Connect groups, and you guys you're in the first week, and I hope you're having a great week so far. But as we get into this first week, the first question I have for you is this: what brought you to Connect groups this evening? What brought you here? What made you sign up? What made you try it out tonight? And what do you hope to get out of Connect groups? What do you hope to learn from this and take with you in your journey of faith? Now, as we get into these questions, again, that not everyone has to answer. You don't have to talk if you don't want to. What makes these groups and these conversations powerful is your choice to be a part of them. So if you choose to come to these groups and just kind of listen and try to understand first, that is perfectly fantastic. And if you choose to speak on your first night and you want to get the conversation going and step into this growth in your faith, then that is fantastic as well. So let's dig into this first question tonight. Let's go around the room. Your Connect group leaders are going to facilitate this conversation. So grateful to our Connect group leaders and hosts for taking the time and using their homes and their time to facilitate these conversations for us. I couldn't do anything without them. So before you leave, make sure you give them a big hug or give them a high five and say thank you so much for doing what they do. So let's get into this first question tonight, and let's see what you guys think. All right, now for the next question this evening, I want to address a little bit about what it feels like to be homeless. And again, a lot of us can experience that because we have a place to call home. But what I want to talk about is the heart behind it, maybe the soul behind homelessness. And that is a place where you feel like you don't belong. Being in a state, being in a place, being in a family or a group where you feel like I don't belong here. I don't have a place here, a place to call home, a place to belong. So if you're brave enough tonight, I would love for you to describe to us a time when you were part of a group where you feel like you just didn't belong, and no matter what you did, you felt like you couldn't belong to this group, or maybe it's your family, or maybe a place you used to work or where you went to school. I want you to describe a place, describe a group, describe a time when you were somewhere where you felt like you did not belong. And I want to know how you address that. Maybe you're in the middle of addressing it right now. And so I want to encourage you, if you have something here, to share this with us this evening. Help us to see more of who you are. Help us to see how we can be a part of your journey of faith. So let's talk through that together and see what you guys think. All right, now for the third question tonight, I want us to read that scripture. If you haven't already, it's Matthew 25, verses 34 through 40. And what I want to know from this is, after you guys have a chance to read it, is when you, in your life, when have you experienced what Jesus is talking about here? When have you experienced someone taking care of you? When have you experienced someone inviting you into their life? When have you experienced somebody clothing you, feeding you? When have you experienced the love and the care when someone has met you in a bad place? Maybe you've never been in prison, or maybe you haven't, somebody visited you, but maybe you've been in a bad place emotionally, a bad place mentally, and people came to visit you and to be with you and to be present with you in that. I would love to know in your life when you've been able to experience that and how that made you feel. So let's take a few minutes to dig through that, and let's see what we can come up with. All right, now for the last question for this evening, we like to end our groups with a challenge on how we can take steps in our journey of faith. I think if we were just coming to church and coming to these groups just to learn more information, we would be missing out on a key aspect of our faith, and that is action. Action is what takes what we believe and puts it in motion. So we want to take action in our faith. So our fourth and final question for tonight is, how can you make room for people in your heart? We said on Sunday that we can make room for people and we can help get people houses and we can donate toys and donate food, but it starts with us making room for people in our hearts, making room for people in our lives. So I want to know how this week you can take those steps and to start making room for people in your life. How can you take steps in your journey of faith by making room in your heart? So I'm going to leave you guys with this tonight. Thank you again for being here at our Connect group. I'm so excited to be back on this journey with everyone. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and we will see you Sunday. Okay, love you very much.